Danielle at Great Lakes Aquarium, and I am in our Shipwrecks Alive exhibit, because today we're going to talk about one of the most amazing animals that are here at the aquarium. And now you'll notice that I said animal. So oftentimes we get the question, are corals animals or plants? And they are in fact animals. They do not produce their own food, so they're often out there putting their tentacle-like arms out and pulling that food back to their mouth. So we're going to go behind the scenes to see what it looks like to take care of some of these animals, as well as what makes them up and what kind of allows them to grow and to build these amazing structures that we think of when we think of the Great Barrier Reef or other places like that, and these amazing habitats that fish and other marine life call home. But first, I, of course, have another joke for you. So, Abby.
Yeah.
What is a fish's favorite type of music?
I have no idea. What is it?
Choral. Get it? Like
yeah.
Choir?
Yeah, pretty good one, Dee.
Choral. It just makes sense. Choral.
I like choral music too.
It's pretty good.
Look at that.
All right, let's go behind the scenes.
All right.
So we're gonna go behind the scenes of our global exhibit, which is out, kind of out in the main part of everything. So let's head on in. Pretty neat. You can see there's a lot going on in here. So these animals are amazing, but they do require a lot of care and a lot of monitoring to make sure that the environments that they're in are healthy for them. So corals can be affected in a lot of different ways. We see that in our world's oceans today. So with bleaching and acidification and everything, those are changes in those environments that then cause changes in the corals. So here at Great Lakes Aquarium, you can see we have a lot going on. Like I mentioned, there's a lot that we're watching for pH, temperature, salinity. All of those parameters need to be right in order for those corals to be nice and healthy. But if we look in close at what a coral actually is, it's sometimes different than what we picture. So oftentimes we think of something that looks like this, or even like this. These ones here are just plastic molds of what we think of with corals. We have some live ones behind me. And oftentimes that coral, so those hard corals, are actually made up of many, many little small pieces that create the large structure. So on a coral, the hard corals, there are small little organisms, small animals called polyps. So that's what the coral is being made up of, is the small polyps that are the living part that secrete a calcium carbonate. That calcium carbonate is like limestone, if you've heard of that, or a very hard shell-like material is a way to think of it. So it secretes that as protection. And those small living pieces stay on the outside of the structure, and it builds up as there's old remnants of past polyps underneath it. So it's pretty amazing to think that on one piece of coral, there are thousands of those polyps that are living and growing and producing that calcium carbonate, which is absolutely fascinating. And then there's some corals that are soft corals, like fans, things like that, that are that fleshy, that soft tissue that we can see and is floating in the water. Now, as you look at both of these, I know the lighting in here is a little bit different, but they're both white. And that's because corals also are really fantastic because they have a symbiotic relationship with algae. So naturally, they are pretty white. That's that calcium carbonate that you would see in there. But the polyps themselves are pretty transparent. You can see right through them. So the color that we see in the coral is actually algae. And that algae is zooxanthellae, and it's really important to kind of bring in some oxygen into those corals. They're animals, so they need that oxygen. It also helps take away the waste from the corals, and they can use that waste, so that algae can use that waste in their photosynthesis and create food for themselves. overlooks that we see all over the world. So in here, not only are there polyps producing calcium carbonate, building up those structures, there's also algae producing food, producing some oxygen. All of these really cool things going on in a small, amazing, jam-packed package. So corals are absolutely fantastic, and it's more than just how amazing they are, but also what they mean for marine environments. These are kind of the center of all activity of marine life. It is a place for animals to live. It's a place for animals to find shelter and protection. It's a place for animals to find food. Without these reefs that are all over in the oceans, we would not see the diversity of life that we have in our oceans, which are so, so important. So it's always important to think about what we can do for the algae in the world, for all of the corals in the world, all of those things. We always have to think about where our role is in that as well. So thinking about how you can take steps to fight against climate change, how you can take steps to protect those areas and make sure that they are getting the care and the attention that they need, as well as making sure that we're not helping out in those actions that would harm those environments. So definitely thinking about climate change, because without these, like I said, it is the focal point of that marine life. So corals play a huge role in that. And they've been around forever, it seems like. The first fossilized record of corals is over 240 million years ago.
Whoa.
So these, yeah.
Holy crap.
These animals have been around for a long time. And that's because they do play such an important role. And they have figured it out. They have figured out how to be productive in their environments. And that's amazing. There are individual coral structures that are sometimes up to 10,000 years old.
Whoa, just like one coral structure?
Just one coral structure could be up to 10,000 years old.
Whoa.
So, we must do what we can to help them. We must do what we can do to protect them. And it starts by watching videos like this. It starts by helping organizations that are making those steps to help those populations. All of it stems from those first steps that we do. So with that, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy these videos here at Great Lakes Aquarium. Come on in and see how many different coral exhibits you can find here at the aquarium. And you can kind of think about all the work that's going on behind the scenes to make sure that they're living their best lives. These animals are so, I keep saying they're amazing, but they are. They are just so amazing. My mind is blown constantly about how amazing they are. But come on down to Great Lakes Aquarium, see how many you can find. I'm not even going to tell you how many there are. I'm going to let you try and figure it out yourself and try to count all of them. And thanks again for watching. Thanks again for all the support to Great Lakes Aquarium. If you want to continue supporting us, that's also amazing. I put the link in the bio of ways that you can help support us, whether it's through donations or anything like that. And otherwise, have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back on Thursday with another live video. See you later.